I'm noticing at 50 that I probably should have worn a hat more often, but, and I'm getting it all over. I'm funny. I'm like a funny girl with moles. So it definitely shows itself, but hey, you know what? I feel much better tan and I really enjoy being tan and I enjoy the sun exposure. It makes me feel incredible and lack of sun makes me feel just god awful. So up to you, but I do like to get my vitamin D stores up with sun exposure and then I supplement. But I check my blood levels. That's another thing. I check my labs about this time of year just to see where I'm at. If there's any time of the year that I test, it's late summer and I want to know what my vitamin D levels are at. So that is one of them. You want to work with a professional who can help guide you on that. You want to test your vitamin D. You don't want to take too much. Although I will tell you clinically, this is just anecdotal. And there is some data to support this. I have seen incredibly high vitamin D levels in people who accidentally, when I said take 5 drops of a supplement, they took 50 and nothing bad came to them. But of course, that's not something I would ever tell anybody to do. Don't mess this one up. Like D is a hormone. It's not a vitamin. It's a hormone at the end of the day. So make sure your D is in the range you want it. I like 50 to 80. Like on labs, I'm going for 50 to 80. That's where I want to see it on patients. So just so you know. All right. So nutrition is key. Muscle is key. I think the third one I would list, this is a hierarchy, by the way. The third one I would list is sleep. I will tell you, of my friends who chose not to get the going intervention, generally speaking, everybody's doing very well. Well, 100% actually, everyone's doing very well. I don't know a single person who chose not to get the intervention who isn't doing very well. So that's just my experience personally and anecdotally. I'm not making any claims on that. That said, the people who did have a difficult time with an upper respiratory illness, they were generally sleep deprived. The bulk of them, because you bet I asked. Every single person I know who chose to go the all natural route, who told me later, like, man, it kicked my butt. The going upper respiratory situation. I asked them questions because I wanted to know, and I always zoned in on sleep because I think that's a big one. And we just got confirmatory data recently about that and poor outcomes with the going upper respiratory virus. That has been, the big thing the last few years. I dare not speak its name. It's like Voldemort. Don't speak its name. There is actually now we have data showing that those who are sleep deprived or having sleep issues were faring more poorly than those who were not. So I think getting your sleep dialed in is huge. I will tell you, ladies, if you are anywhere near middle age, total off topic caveat, I'm hearing a lot about women in early menopause. You can have just low hormones from burning your frickin' systems out too. It doesn't have to necessarily be early menopause, but there are times and places where hormone replacement is really appropriate, even in younger women. That doesn't mean we give pharmacological doses. We give physiologic dosing of what they're low in. But that said, if your sleep is off, I generally start looking at hormones. First thing I look at is, are you exercising? First and foremost, if you're not moving every day and sweating to some degree, I do not want to hear about you having sleep issues. We have to wear ourselves out. I've done entire podcasts on sleep. You guys can go back and check those out. Entire conversations about sleep. And first and foremost, we have to wear our bodies out. We got to off gas the steam, right? We got to off gas the energy, just like kids and dogs and puppies and you name it. If we want well-behaved children and well-behaved animals and pets, we have to, let them get the let out. So we have to be moving if we want to have good sleep at night. We have to absolutely get good daylight in our eyes. We have to get morning light. I really prefer midday light, and I prefer that sort of late afternoon, waning sun, sunsetty, just before sunset. I really think that's wonderful light. It tells your brain that what time of day it is. So I don't care if it's raining. I live in Oregon. It rains 9 months out of the year here. It's gray. I still get outside morning, midday, later day, even if it's just for a minute or two, preferably longer, but even if it's just a minute or two, because it might be like blowing rain sideways, freezing cold, and you don't want to be out there. But long enough for my dog to pee gives me time to get enough daylight in my eyes, no sunglasses, so that my circadian rhythm sets. Those two things alone are going to significantly help your sleep. But going back to what I was saying, if your hormones are starting to plummet, you're going to have a hard time. You'll have a hard time staying asleep if your estrogen's low, and you'll have a hard time getting to sleep if your progesterone's low. So, supplementing hormones under the care of someone who knows what they're doing, a knowledgeable health professional, especially with estrogen, is going to be potentially very helpful for your sleep, because your sleep has an enormous impact on your immune health. Your muscle has an enormous impact on your immune health, and your nutritional status has an enormous impact on your immune health. So, that said, those are helpful.